Hello, ladies. No, it is not Weston Parker. It's Allie Parker and Jacob.
Hello.
And Weston.
He always gets to be in the video.
I know. So I'm not going to do the whole today is because you probably know what today is. But I heard that while I was gone, these guys were acting up. So I know my hair looks great, so don't be sending me notes.
Who told you that? I need names.
I watched y'all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I totally watched, and these guys were totally acting up. Dude, there's like no light in here. Like there's no light whatsoever in this living. So, if you're on here, tell me that you're on here so that we can converse. What we decided to do, I know you want to see my handsome brother. What we decided to do was to have me on every other, oh my God, like, did you see it? It's totally dark in here. These boys are running around trying to put some light in this living room. How many monkeys does it take to put some light on the living room? Anyways, so we decided that I would do one of the lives.
You gotta update us when somebody comes
Two
on.
people, I can't see anybody's name yet.
Oh.
I don't know how to tell. Hang on, let me poke at it a little bit. No, don't do that. Okay, anyways. Oh, there's Jackie. Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Is everybody just gonna say hi to everybody like we're at an AA meeting?
Who's there? Who's there? Somebody else is there.
Hi, Lorraine. It's good
Hey,
to see you.
Lorraine's always on here, by the way.
I love that Lorraine's on here. Okay, so anyways, I went on a trip to Galveston, and I look really tired because we've had kind of an emotional week. Our middle child has been acting ridiculous, so I spent all day yesterday crying because I am a mom. And we watched Game of Thrones all weekend long. But I heard these boys were acting up, and so when I got back and I'd seen Weston's latest, what was it? Your latest Facebook Live? Where he's done like 10 or 12 Facebook Lives in a row, and he's an introvert, so he was like, hey ladies, like, I was like, okay, you can't do that. Like, we have to have some more energy. So him and I are going to trade off a little bit. So you get to see his handsome mug tomorrow night. Oh, actually, tomorrow night's our Facebook party.
Yep.
For Valentine's Day. So you may see Weston a lot, because we may do that whole, like, I don't know, ask 5 questions and he jumps on. That would be awesome.
Who else showed up?
Jackie's on here. She's
Jackie.
talking to us. Yeah. I think most people think we're coming at 8, but they may be sick of you. I think Jackie and Lorraine love you, but he said he's sick of himself. Anyways, so Jackie says, has he bought more clothes or will he go topless? He has a wife beater on. You don't even want to see this right now. So tomorrow night's the Valentine's party, and we're going to have a good time. But tonight, you get to spend just a few minutes with me. So here, I'm going to answer one of these questions for you guys. I actually have been writing for 3 years. Hi, Deanna Joe. It's good to see you. I was a CPA for 15 years before I started writing fiction. Never wrote a book in my life, by the way. So I'm going to do that whole, like, you can do anything you want to do thing, talk, because that's so true. Okay?
Are you answering the question? You didn't say a question.
I'm going to do a question in a minute.
I thought you were answering it without saying what the question is.
No. I'm just kind of prefacing it because I'm really smart.
This is a good word.
He's asking what I'm doing over here. Hey, Sharon. It's good to see you, Sharon. Sharon's here. Deanna Joe's here.
Hey, guys.
Hey. Anyway, so I was a CPA for 15 years. Never wrote a book before in my life. But I read all the time. I've read my whole entire life, and I really love paranormal books, and I love young adult books. And so, I got the award in 8th grade for reading 320 books, which was the coolest thing ever. No, I was not a cheerleader. I was reading. Keep it up.
I think he's saying your video's good.
My brother's over here asleep. I was proud of that award. Anyways, so I read my whole life, and I decided I was going to start writing books in 2010. And I know that was more than 3 years ago. I can do the math. But what I did was in 2010, I sat down and wrote a young adult novel. And in between working crazy tax and auditing hours and all that good stuff. But sat down and wrote a novel. and realized that I could do it. And then I tried to get an agent, because when you write a novel, they're like, oh, get a literary agent, and then you can get your books published by HarperCollins or some big publishing company. Okay, that's a lie. Hi, Charlotte, it's good to see you. That's a total lie.
Charlotte's on there?
Because it's like getting hit by lightning. Hey, Amber, it's good to see you. Amber's on here too. Charlotte says hello to us. And so anyways, I submitted this book and I mean, we're talking a big book. This was like 460-page book, right? Complex, fun, journey, love story. Like, it was just all the elements, right? So I submit it to 200 agents. Every one of them tells me no. Like, I'm pretty sure none of them even looked at the first page. They were just like, no, 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 no. I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I don't need any more rejection in my life, because that's not fun. So I put and actually I think what I said was quote and unquote, I don't need this shit in my life. So I put the novel in a drawer, and in 2010 I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Because I lost focus, right? Like, I had written the novel to kind of give somebody the experience that I got when I read. Because when I read, like, I totally go into that world. I'm those characters. I'm having fun. I'm laughing. I'm making new friends. You know, I'm making love in my head. Like, it's an awesome experience to read a great book. And so I put that book up, and then 2 or 3 years later, I had a few friends of mine that read the first book that I wrote, and they were like, you got to get that back out. Like, you're talented, you can write, this will be great for you. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm a mathematician. Give me calculus and I'll have a great time on the wall, but don't make me write a book. Like, I can't stand to write. They said, well, some of us are making the same you're making as a CPA. You can do this. And then, of course, the entrepreneur inside of me was like, I do like telling stories. So I decided 3 years ago to write the second book in my series. So I wrote the second one and the third one, and then Jacob and I had a long talk, and I quit my job cold turkey. So I went from making multiple 6 figures a year to $25 a month.
When she means long talk, she means she had already decided and then let me know about the decision.
That I was leaving my job? Hey, TCD. Hey, TCD, good to see you. Yeah, Deanna Joe, thank you. I'm glad you get that aspect. So anyways, I decided, okay, I'm going to do this thing. So I quit my job I was with Ernst & Young at the time. I quit my job with them and decided to go for it. So since then, I've written 131 novels in 3 years. It may be more than that now. But totally just decided to go for it, because why not? Life is really short, and you're capable of so much more than you think you're capable of. So if you have a story inside of you, you should be telling that story on paper. Like, there's so many ways to make this happen. And what I've done over the last 3 years is, if it didn't work, we figured it out. Like, we Googled the shit out of it, right? Or we met a bunch of people who were authors too, who have helped us, who we've talked to, and became friends with. So it's totally possible. Hi, Allison. It's good to see you on here. So here's the question. That was the preface. Don't you love that? Like, I'm so wordy right now.
Yeah. It's a really good story, though. My story's a little different. She had it all figured out when she told me to write my book, so we just went from writing, and that was it.
Must be nice to have somebody to go the path before you. I was like the donkey, and he was the cart. Hey, Tracy, it's good to see you. Oh, Terry, you're 9 chapters into what? My Father's Best Friend? I hope so. I hope you love it. I like to do spin-offs now. Anyways, I do have a question. I'm going to get there, but, you know, I'm a girl. I can do what I want to do right now, because there's boys in here.
Well, men.
Oh, so sorry. There's men in here. Anyways, good, Terry. I'm so glad you're liking it. That means a lot to me. The side thing I was going to say, what are you doing?
Just seeing who was here. Tracy's here.
I said hi to Tracy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why she said hi to me.
Okay.
But anyways, I love to do spin-offs, and so that's why that's why I have 131 books, is because I love spin-offs. And so the My Father's Best Friend that comes out next Tuesday is the spin-off from My Creative Billionaire, because I love spin-offs. So fun. When you meet a character, and then you're like, hey, how about that side character? And Jacob and I actually wrote down on this huge board about 2 years ago, like, what side characters we want to tell stories for. And so that's what this one is. Coming up is Lainey's. All right, here's my question. Let's see. Tracy said no, boys was right, not men.
Oh, okay, Tracy. I see how it is.
Okay.
Weston is a boy. He don't even care. He's like, please take years off of me. Please, somebody help. Jennifer called me an overachiever. Jennifer, I am such an like, if you looked it up in the dictionary, you'd be like, fucking Allie Parker, right? Thanks, Terry. I appreciate that. Hi, Pam. It's good to see you. Okay, so here is my question for myself. Oh, Deanna Joe says that you have, Weston, you have a character that needs a spinoff. Deanna Joe, who is that?
You know, I was just thinking that we don't do spin-offs so much.
Well, the reason we usually don't is KU's so different. Like, it's just a standalone world.
We did for Untapped.
Yeah, we did Toxic to Untapped.
But those were at the very beginning that we started writing.
Yeah, we did my model. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Pam.
Deanna
Pam
Joe
says
had
hi to all of
answered.
you.
There's Chloe.
Deanna Joe said Chloe. Yes, I agree. That would be actually awesome. We need to look at all those different spin-off characters.
We didn't even thought about that.
No, but like I said, KU's a little bit different. Okay, so anyways, my question is, what inspires your writing and your characters? And I think Weston might have answered these. Like, he had a huge list, but I really like this one because the answer for me is everything. Like, if we met in person, chances are your ass would end up in a novel. Like, that's how ridiculous it is. Like, my mom's in novels. My brother Weston in my novels is usually a whore or a bully. Jacob always has something in my novels to where it's either a nickname I call him or like I have a series under Kate Thomas. And it's called Equilibrium. It's got a little bit of a religious spin. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a master's in theology. Be scared. And so my Kate Thomas series, I have a scene in there where the main character's wearing these really sexy, tight yellow boxers. And Jacob has some of those. And so that's where that comes from. But I call them his banana panties just to be silly. So in the book, I called him his banana panties, and you should have heard him scream from the other room, like, oh my God, you put my fucking banana panties in the book. Like, it was awesome. It was totally awesome. Hey, Lindsay Starkey, my sister, how are you? So anyways, everybody ends up in my books. It's usually rather scary. But the first book I wrote for my son, I write middle grade too. I don't know if you guys knew that yet, but I wrote it for my son who was 7 or 8. And the bully in that one is named after my brother. I made him a big meathead football guy, and he's a total bully. So my inspiration comes from everywhere. Like when we go to the coffee shop, we put the coffee shop in there. We went to New Orleans not too long ago, and we took tours of the plantation homes, and the poor guy, what was his name? Dudley was our tour guide. And this house was freaking scary creepy. Did you know that in the old days they had, and I'm skipping everywhere, this is how my life is, by the way, these people have to put up with this craziness. So anyways, in those old plantation homes, they had birds in cages. And so what was in the air? Carbon monoxide? If there was too much carbon monoxide in the air, the birds would kill over, right? And then you'd know, hey, get your ass out of the house. There's too much carbon monoxide in this house. These old creepy plantation homes. Okay, so we're walking through this plantation home, and I shit you not, I stop and listen for the sound of these birds everywhere, and I'm like, oh, this is so going in a novel. And I asked the tour guide, because it was just me and Jacob, and I said, hey, would you be okay if I took some pictures? And he was like in full costume, you guys. I'm like, he was like all about being every character, like in the thing.
He lives it.
Yeah, he totally lived it for us, and he acted it all out. It was so crazy. But the funniest part was when he did the woman, his voice went down. So he was like, I'm Colonel John Marcus. I'm going to be telling you about, and then he would go into John Marcus. Well, then he does the wife of one of them, and he's like, I'm Elizabeth Smith. I was like, what the fuck are women's voices that low for? Okay, that was a side note. Anyways, I asked him, can I take some... I'm getting there. I asked him, can I take some pictures? And he's like, well, you're really not supposed to take pictures in here. I said, well, I'm an author, and your name's going to go in my next book, Dudley. And he was like, I won't tell anyone you're taking pictures in here.
As you just wrap Dudley out.
Don't you guys tell on Dudley. He was super nice to me.
One of these girls is Dudley's boss.
Yeah. Dudley gets fired tomorrow.
That's not funny.
Oh, man, that is so not funny. Oh man. Hey Deborah. I did enjoy my time away. I am working hard on a few new projects.
Dude, somebody figured out the
this
emojis.
year. Everybody's having fun. They're laughing at me because I'm stupid. Good, Deanna Joe. I'm glad you're laughing. So ridiculous. So inspiration comes from everywhere. Everywhere we go, everything we do. Poor Charlotte and Mary, who have been with me for, gosh, I guess almost a year or more now.
They're
But
in a boat.
they are in multiple books. And the last book, I wanted to make them laugh. And so I made them like twin, like hookers running down the beach towards my main character. It was one of my Bright Lights Billionaire stories. But the two hookers that are going to spend the night with him were named Charlotte and Mary. And so they laughed really hard at that. And then, I guess probably just living life, right? I mean, like the situation with my kids, a lot of my weight issues. Let's see.
Our minds are always working like a novel too. Like there doesn't even have to be anything that
Going on.
happens for real, and our minds start going, okay, well this could be a story.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a big old vein in my head.
I'm putting that in a
Is it? No, yeah.
And the big vein pulsed in his baldly head. Lindsay asked why she's not a hooker in one of the stories. I'm gonna put you in there now, Lindsay. Watch it out, man. So anyways, and of course, some of you that don't know like my full story, like when I was a single mom, when we were in massive poverty, like I've been on food stamps before when I was younger, made some decisions that weren't the best decisions in my life. And so we've been through some real shit. And most of that comes through in the deep emotion that maybe you see in our books. So the inspiration isn't always funny and it's not always fun. A lot of it is some of the steps we've taken and some of the stuff we've been on. And I think a lot of the reason why we add some of that deep emotion, and Weston, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because we've experienced it. And the coolest part about humanity and connecting with you guys is that some of you have too. And so some of the books you love the most are the redemption stories from things that you've been through, like me being through a divorce, me losing my first husband to cancer, me being on food stamps, like those things, that poverty or that single mom, and the great things too, but the sad things I think connect us even deeper when we're sharing ourselves in those books. There's not a book that we write that goes out of here or a story that we tell that doesn't have so much of me or Weston or Jacob or what's going on with my parents in it.
Yeah,
So.
it's hard not to put that stuff in books too. Like the hard times that we've had in our lives, it's hard not to put that stuff in there because it made us who we are.
Yeah.
And so it does connect to other people, but we want to show people that you can make it through this. That's really one of the big reasons that we do put some of the sad shit in our stories or the stuff that's more emotional in our stories, because we want you to understand that you're not the only one going through hard times. I mean, we've been there too.
Yeah.
And
we still are.
Yep.
I mean, this weekend's been, like I said, this weekend's been really rough. My middle kiddo has decided to act up again. And so it's been a really long weekend of, she's 18 now, kind of letting her go and helping her find her own way. I think one of the coolest things about what happened this weekend, just to be real vulnerable with you guys for a minute, is that I realized that I am who I am, regardless of what everyone else does, which is a really cool place to be. I'm 40 now. Thank God I made it to 40. I don't know how the fuck I made it to 40. But, I am who I am. And so she can act up, or Jacob can act like a fool, or Weston can do what he does. But I am who I am. And that doesn't mean I react in the same way. I can react with grace and kindness and goodness. I can do those things. And I like who I am, because finally at this age, I react like that. And so that's what I did all weekend. I was sad, and it was a rough weekend because of her decisions. But I'm cool. I was cool. I'm cool with who I am. I just had to cry through it. And so now I look like shit, which I seem to look like shit every time I get on here. But hey, Shauna, thank you so much. It's the truth that makes you feel great. Absolutely. Jackie says it makes everything relatable. Yep, that's exactly what Weston was just saying. It's real life. It is real life. And the coolest part is that there's always a redemption story. There's always a second chance romance. There's always, getting picked out of poverty, pulling yourself up out of poverty, pulling yourself up out of those situations, or knowing that, that there are other people around you that are going to help you. So Jackie said, it must be a 40 thing. I accepted myself in my 50s. Maybe was it then? Oh, but 50s. Yeah, I just turned 40 in January. I had my first mammogram, which actually I'll talk about on my next fucking Facebook Live when these boys aren't sitting here, because that was my first mammogram. So you want to laugh? I will totally let loose on you what that poor girl had to hear me say to her. when I had to get my first mammogram, which was like a week ago, by the way. Someone could have told me that it hurts when they smash your titties in half. That would have been awesome. All right. Anyways, I love you girls so much. I hope you don't mind me taking up a night every once in a while so you ain't got to watch Weston sink lower and lower at the couch because he's an introvert. But tomorrow night is going to be such a fun night. We're all going to be there. We're going to be in high spirits. I got so many cool things the other day. I actually went shopping for you guys. So we got a bunch of cute things that I thought, ooh, I would love to have this. And so Caitlin, one of my PAs, my daughter, today took pictures of all the little giveaway things. It's not books. I mean, we will have some books. But it's not books. It's all kinds of fun little cute things that I found, like champagne glasses and journals and all kinds of cutie things that I got for you guys for the party tomorrow night. So come and join us. Charlotte, if you're with me still, drop the time on here or a link or something. You guys come hang out with us tomorrow night. All of us will be there, and we'll be having music, and we'll be acting stupid, and you'll hear more lies out of Weston's mouth with his story time. But I hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you guys so much. I love you so much, but we'll see you next time, okay? Have a great night. Have a great tomorrow, and Weston will be slouched up over here tomorrow answering some of your questions. So good night.
Night.
Night, ladies.
Good night. Love you guys.